Welcome to the kitchen. We're having a fun time in the kitchen. Today is the first day of fall, so why not do something absolutely fun for you? Let's enjoy. We're going to make some sourdough pancakes. Let's put together some sourdough pancakes. And, I could have done them overnight. We are going to, first of all, we need 2 cups of flour. And 2 cups. 1, 2 cups of flour. We need 2 tablespoons of sugar or any sweetener that you decide that you want to use. I happen to have sugar right here that I need to use, so I'm going to use that. All right, let's get our 2 tablespoons. It's a 2 tablespoon measure. All right, and we need a teaspoon of salt. Got that in. We're going to need some baking powder and some baking soda. Let me get that. Now, I have baking powder, and I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder. There's 1, and here is 2. 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Now, I was watching Miss Denise on YouTube, so I need to turn her down. Great minds think alike. It was so funny because I had really planned on doing this particular recipe live. And just something said, don't do it live. Go ahead and just tape it. Well, it's a good thing because Miss Denise was on as well. And both of us on at the same time and not at this, literally at the same time, trying to stream that we would have been competition for each other. That wouldn't have been right. So, I've got the baking powder, I've got the baking soda, and I'm going to mix this up. Let's get this all whisked together because we don't want any of that baking powder and baking soda to be clumped in one place. I want to make sure we have it all well mixed before we start to add in the liquid ingredients. Now we're going to need a cup of starter. And we're going to need some milk. Now, it calls for buttermilk, but I don't have any buttermilk, so I'm just going to use the milk I have. And it'll have to work. So, let me get 1 cup of starter. And I've got some happy starter here that is just bubbling away. Leona. Okay, guys, so we have everything down in our bowl, and we're going to add in, I had to stop for a minute, we're going to add in a cup of starter, which is going to take all of the rest of this, and I'm going to use my spatula and get the last little bit out, because we don't want to waste a thing, so we want all of this starter to be used. All right, let's get it taken care of, and get our whisk. Well, get our spatula first. There we go. Okay, that takes care of that. And then there was just a tiny bit left in the jar. And you know me, I'm not going to waste it. Now, really, there's enough in here that we could start another whole batch of starter. But I don't need to do that because I've got a ton of starter. And this was just a portion that I prepared for another recipe. And this was left over. And, your starter discard eventually becomes it's your starter. And because each time that you prepare a recipe with your starter, you will find that what happens is that whatever's left over of the starter, you're going to pour into your discard jar. So your discard jar becomes, over time, the starter. So I know that's a little confusing, but that's the way it works. All right, we got starter in. We're going to add in, we need 2 eggs, we need some vanilla, and we need a little butter. All right, we're going to add in our 2 eggs. We got 1, 2. We need 1.5 cups of buttermilk, and you're going to use buttermilk if you have it. And the only milk I have, is going to be plant-based. I've got almond milk, and guess what? That's what I'm going to use, is my almond milk. And I'll have to tell you whether it works. So we got 1.5 cups of almond milk. Now, what I'm thinking is that because we're using the starter in this recipe, that it's going to pick up some of the flavorings that you would normally expect of the buttermilk. That little somewhat soury flavor that you get. So we'll see. We'll see. Now, like I said, I could have done this overnight and put everything together, let it sit in the refrigerator overnight, or even out on the counter, to be honest with you, overnight. But I prefer overnight in the refrigerator and let it just mix together. So we have our starter in, we've got our eggs in, we've got our milk in. All the other dry ingredients are in. The only thing I have not added is the vanilla. All right, I've got my vanilla right here. And I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of vanilla. There's 1 and 2. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. Oh, this is going to be good. Give it a really good mix, because I want that starter all through these pancakes. Okay, now I'm going to let this sit for about 15 minutes, just to let everything get happy in there. And at the end of 15 minutes, we're going to be ready to start cooking those pancakes. Now, while I'm waiting for the few minutes to go by, I bought some Granny Smiths, but I was thinking they were going to be a pretty good size, and they aren't. So we're going to make a little apple topping to go on the pancakes. It's going to be delicious. Now, I'm using my mandolin here. Be careful with your fingers, because I have been known to have accidents with it. When I get carried away or I'm talking, and you lose focus. So I'm just letting you know. Focus when you use it. Woo! That apple's flying everywhere. All right, that's 1 apple. I'm going to try 3 and see if 3 will be enough, because these are going to cook down. The nice thing about these pancakes, like I said, is that you can do them overnight. And that way you just get up the next morning and put them together. I love fixing them on like a Friday night or a Friday afternoon, put them into the refrigerator, and have it ready for Saturday morning. And the same goes for this little mixture that we're going to put together right here with the apples. It's really all we're doing is cooking apples, you know, like a fried apple, but it's going to be a little more syrupy. So that's 2 apples, and because it's just a big guy and I only need a fairly small amount. Okay. All right, we're almost there. Let's go. All right, there we go. We've got our 3 apples in. Now, you know we're going to have some sweetener. We need a touch of salt. And I like a little vanilla in mine. So, let me get the salt. We're going to add, I'm going to start with, because of the volume, maybe a ½ teaspoon to a teaspoon of salt. You have to taste it. And if you need a little more salt, you know to throw that in. I'm going to add in some vanilla. I better wait with the vanilla. I'll do that after we start to cook it. We're going to need some sugar, and I'm going to use brown sugar. I've got my brown sugar. We're going to add about a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. There's some. And I'm going to keep it handy just in case I need to add a little extra. Okay. Now my little sugar bear needs to be moistened. So I'm going to put him on a, let me find a saucer or even a little bowl. I'm going to put some water in there and let him sit for about a ½ an hour and soak up the moisture. Then we'll put him back in the brown sugar so the brown sugar will stay nice and soft. All right, I got my water here. Got our little sugar bear here. And we're going to sit him right in there. Let's see if I can turn you so you can see him. He's in his little spot. Right. I'm going to get this on the stove. Start it on medium and start to let it cook. And when it starts to bubble, you know you got to stir. All right. I am really making a mess this morning. Okay, I've got my heat on medium for the apples. And I'm going to use my spurtle and just kind of keep it moving, keep it mashing, because you know we're going to get lots of good liquid down in there. And wherever medium is on your stove, that's where you want to start it, because you don't want it too terribly high. Now, I have not put any cinnamon or any of that in yet. I'm going to see if I have some apple pie spice. And if not, then I may have to throw in just some cinnamon and call it a day. Oh yeah, see how that's breaking down very quickly? Oh yeah, we got lots of good juices down in there. Okay, let's get some cinnamon. And I'm looking to see if I've got pumpkin pie spice. But, oh, I do. Apple pie spice. There we go. We're in business, girls. Okay, that's, I don't think I have much, though. Let's see what I got of our apple pie spice. Not much, but it smells good. Now, I only purchase this usually in the fall or right around Thanksgiving, when we're really making a lot of things, you know, like apple pies and those kind of things. I usually purchase it. Now I'm going to add in just a touch of cinnamon. I'm just going to do 2 shakes. 1, 2. I got a little while, so I'm going to have to clean up cinnamon over here. He just jumped right out of that container. Okay. Now, you know, I like a little butter in my sauce. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add just a tad bit, just 1 tablespoon of plant butter to this. 1 tablespoon. putting that in because I wanted to have a nice buttery flavor so that when we put them on those pancakes, it's going to be so good. Let's get all that a good stir. And I'm going to let this simmer and cook down. Now, what you could do, once you cook this down very well, you could certainly blend it and have more of a pourable sauce. I don't know. I may opt to do that, is to put some in the blender and make it a little more pourable. Now, it just so happens that I had my magic bullet handy. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take some of this, put it in, not too much, and we're going to blend this so it's a little smoother. And that decision is up to you. Now, it's pretty hot, so I already know I'm going to have to be careful. Okay. Woo. Hot, hot, hot. Turn it down just a little bit. I don't want to mess. I'm going to take a little more. I probably could have gotten all of that in one mix, but it would have been hard to open because it's so hot. Hot liquid. Now, I still have a few pieces, but not much. And that's okay. They can kind of cook down. So, let's put the top back on it. Hot, hot, hot. I'm going to give it a blend. Now, let me just say that the mixture did not blend down really to a liquid. Now, that might have been because I didn't give it a chance, but it is nice, smooth, and spreadable, which was just fine because I was able to spread it on the pancakes. All righty, here we go. Now, what I'm going to do at this point is to add a cap full of vanilla, just because I like vanilla. If you don't like vanilla, you don't have to put it in yours. Smells so good. Let's see if I can get a taste without burning my mouth. Let's see. Have to taste to see if we have enough sweetener. Oh, that's good. That's just perfect. Perfectly sweet. And, you know, you can decide you may start with less salt. And for me, if I were just doing it for me, I could actually go with no salt. But we needed a little salt to bring out the flavor. So yes, I'm getting one more. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so our apples are ready. I've turned off the stove. I'm going to get all this cleaned up, and then we're going to be ready to prepare the pancakes. Now, I'm in the process of warming up my little skillet here, And like I said, it's just a big guy now. You can see I got something crooked down under there. There we go. That I needed to fix. All right, I got my skillet on medium. I'm going to need a little oil, and I'll place a little oil in the bottom, and then we're going to be ready to work on those sourdough pancakes. Now, you know, we had put this together and it was really loose, but over time, that's the reason why I gave it really about 30 minutes to sit. And now it has the consistency that I like for my pancake batter. So it's ready to go. And as soon as our skillet is ready, we're going to add some oil, and we'll add that, get that oil in, and then we'll be ready to move on. My oil is nice and hot, so we're going to get in a little closer so you can see what we're doing. Use my spoon. I'm going to wipe off some of that to avoid some of the mess. Once you see a lot of bubbles on top, it's about almost ready to flip. Not quite. I'm using my cast iron. Get under there and flip. Oh, that's good. Got our apples right there. They're ready to go. Oh, yummy, yummy. Okay, that's one. Just looking at these sourdough pancakes right here in the skillet, I already know that they're going to be absolutely wonderful and light. But you know, one thing to keep in mind, particularly for those of you who are new to pancake cooking, keep in mind that you're looking for bubbles. So as I put those in, I'm watching for the bubbles to show through the batter. And once I see quite a few bubbles, then I know we're ready to flip. I'm going to continue making pancakes until I have enough for both the big guy and I. He'll probably take about 3, where I think probably 1 or 2 will be fine for me. We'll play around with it just a little bit. But as you can see, I'm using an 8-inch little cast iron skillet, and it's working out perfectly. Now, if you have a larger family, then you may want, of course, use a larger skillet. And or you may even opt to use a griddle. I didn't today because the grandkids aren't here, but when they're here, I promise you that griddle is going to be in action. Now, the good thing about this is that you can make the batter the night before. And in fact, that's really the most healthy way to do it, because then you're going to be able to benefit from the fermented batter that you're going to have with the sourdough. So, sourdough pancakes are high on my list. Spread the butter. We're going to add some of those apples and little apples to the side. So there's our fall breakfast ready to go. Now, while we were working, I thought I'd try just a little something extra. I'm going to try putting a little bit of our apples, mixing it into our pancake, and see what that does. I don't know if it's going to work, but we're going to try it out anyway. So I've got all that mixed in. When they really start to bubble, then we'll flip. You can see lots of bubbles on the side. Well, as you can see, our pancake is sticking. And I think there's two reasons for that. Number one, adding the apple caused the sugars to really set up on the skillet, and because of the fact that I did not add any extra oil. So what I'm just going to do is to take a little bit of butter and kind of put around the edges until it loosens, and then I'll finish the pancake up. You know, we always have to be able to putt and kick so that should the ball come to us and we need to do something different, we can. So when the pancakes stick, add just a tad bit of oil or butter and get it loosened up, and it's ready to go. Beautiful. That's a beautiful pancake. Now, I'm going to sit down. We're going to have some pancake and some of our apple spread, and then we need it a little quiet, and then we'll be ready to go. Well, now the real test comes. We're going to see how they taste. And you know, pancakes are always delicious, but it's nice to know that you can do something a little different. Now, we made our little apple topping that we have here, and I'm just going to spread that over my pancake. And in fact, you know, the last pancake, the one that's on top, we actually put a little bit of that topping into the mix just to see if it would work. Now, the big guys already told me they're good. So I know the pancakes are good. So now let's see. Oh, they are good. And I'm tasting the one that we added the apples to it. Oh, now that is very good. And the nice thing about the apple topping is that I don't need any syrup. Well, I could have certainly thrown on some maple syrup. I could have even put maple syrup into the mix, but we didn't do that today. So you'll have to tweak yours the way you like it. But, you know, I'm always good about telling you what works and what doesn't. This worked. Now remember, we put our little sugar bear into some water and we let him soak for 30 minutes. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take him and just take a paper towel and wipe the drippy water off. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. But he's still nice and moist. And I'm going to stick him down into my brown sugar container. Stick him down. I'm going to take a little spoon, and anything that looks a little hard, I'm going to put on top of him and just cover him up. And he's going to keep this brown sugar nice and moist. So, it's ready to go. He's under there, and our brown sugar is going to be kept in the condition that we like it. Brown sugar ready to go. Your kids will love you. Now, I hope you'll come back to the kitchen of Ebony Ivy Thyme, because we're doing these kind of things all the time. And, oh my goodness, this is so good. And sourdough really is good for you. So, try it. You will like it.